Willie D. Live.
If Haiti wouldn't have sent the French back packing, America never would have had Louisiana, never would have had Texas, or anything worse to that. Because they kicked the French's ass in such a bad way, they had to leave, and economically, they couldn't fight the ex-Brits that were over here anymore for this land. So the reason you even have America, and Frederick Douglass talked about this, the only reason you have it is because a bunch of Haitians kicked a bunch of French folks' ass. And we don't even know the proper arguments because we've only accepted the fact that we was just lowly slaves. But if you see yourself as just a lowly slave and not the most important cog in the machine, you'll forever have low self-confidence. But if everybody said, man, we ain't picking no cotton got picked, how would the South have gotten rich? Alexander Stephens said, who was the vice president, there's a Stephens County named for him in Georgia. Vice president of the Confederacy said, the cornerstone of the Confederacy is slavery. And it wasn't just we want to keep people as pets.
It was the economic engine.
My brother. It's that simple. So I don't even listen to white folks say, well, you didn't build this country. Shut the fuck up. You don't know what you're talking about. The vice president said it right there. It's just the cornerstone. The cornerstone is the most important piece that's in building the building. So you just have to smile and accept that we suffered through it. But you have to move with the confidence to know you're competent to do it for yourself. There was another Confederate official who was about to lose his land. Because when the Union came down, they said, we confiscating all this shit. If you're a white man, you own it, we taking it. One of his enslaved men saying, hey, sign it over to me. I'll own it. When they come back, when they leave, I'll sign it over to you. Now, I'm sure he kept some land for himself, but his master wasn't even smart enough to broker that deal. We got a brother, I forget his name. His name was Biggs, I think Robert Biggs, was in South Carolina, stole a Confederate ship, got the Confederate ship up to the Union Army, flashed and let it know over to him. Somebody said they ought to have a movie about him. But they don't want you to hear that because they don't want you to think, oh man, you was just lowly. And I don't mean just the people who oppressed you. It's some people that benefit from your oppression that look like you. They say you're your friend, but they got them 501c3s, boy. They can't get no donations. They can't live as high as so they need you to think you only vibrated low. Man, you've been outsmarting oppression your whole way here. You've been resisting your whole way here. The whole 400-500 years you've been here, you've been pushing back. You've been figuring it out. And you're going to keep doing that. And that's the confidence you have to have. What happened to us was wrong. The way they do us now is wrong. But boy, when your mind is right and you move righteous, it's amazing what you're able to do. Look what Marcus Garvey was able to do. You know, I don't care what you think about. I tell people I don't argue between Abrahamic religion. I don't argue Jewish, Muslim, or Christian because they all had the same father in Abraham. So that's family fights, and I don't get in the middle of family fights. What I say, though, is you show me another organization that takes men that have thought less of themselves, that have been on the bottom, women that have been used, that have been abused, that are coming out of prison, coming out of doldrums of addiction. You show me another organization that gives you fine, upstanding citizens like that, then I say, man, I might be wrong, but I know I'm not wrong. Because I knew my brother before he got in the nation. Yes, and I know him now. I know his wife and his children. I see the business he set for himself. So anything and everything is possible when you believe. Their job is to get you to disbelieve. And I'm not just talking about your clear and open enemy. Yeah. Some people profit from your disbelief. And as long as you let them profit from your disbelief by not believing in yourself, then it continues. Everybody sees a rise in homelessness now. I say, man, why do we see such a rise in homelessness? Like, this is crazy. Because it's not just your city. It's in every city. All I do is travel around the world, singing and dancing. But I'm like, but now they're saying they got monies coming in. And they say, well, if we solve the homeless crisis, no money keeps coming. Well, if no money keeps coming, how do I keep my job as special advisor to homelessness committee? Right. You know, when you look at gang violence in Los Angeles, many of the brothers that started 501c3s that were former gang members that are effective at ending the violence, they say, well, Michael, when the violence drops too low, then they drop the police budgets to combat violence. Right. So then they take our money, and then violence rises up again, and then the policemen get more money, the police forces get more, and then they double back around us and say, well, we got some more money for it. Well, that's a wicked system because it requires violence for the state to get more money and for the people who really trying to solve the problem.